Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, we're talking the darkest timeline. You know it. I know it. We all know it. It's the darkest of timelines there's ever been. And I'm here to highlight some of those aspects. We're talking money. The root of all evil. Money. Fragile male egos. Feeling like a man. TV. Stand-up comedy. Movies. Computer games. VR and flat. Is that how we refer to 2D games now? Although 2D is not 3D. 2D. Anyway, those are some of the things we're talking about today. Before we get started, please do consider like, share, subscribe and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. And yeah, that's about that. Let's get going. Here we go. This is CookieCast, the darkest timeline. Hello! How you doing? You know, I thought about putting the fan on. I was like, I don't want it to interfere. I don't want it to be noisy on the podcast. I don't want it to be, a distraction or... So far, warmest day of the year. And, windows shut. No fan. Yeah, delightful. However, it is also 10 to 10 at night because, why not? Why not? How are you? Are you well? Good. As always, I have to presume you are well. Otherwise, drop me a line. Let me know. Proper mixed bag today. Plenty of stuff to get through. And that's with the fat trimming exercise. So let's get straight into it. I want to revisit a subject that I think I spoke about previously. My children, that's not the subject, because let's face it, when am I not talking about something child related? But anyway, my children, independently, I think they're pretty much all saving up to buy houses at this point in time. It's a bit of a running joke. One of my children, I was like, "Oh, you should see what's in your money box. You never know what's in your money box, and it's probably an idea to have some idea of what's in your money box, so that if you were going out one day, you need some pennies to go spending. You never know." And she went away and she came back. She was like, "I've got this much." And it was like a stack of cash. I'm like, where is all this money from? She's like, I haven't even looked at my coins yet. I'm like, okay, but where is this money from? So we pieced it together. We worked backwards, and it's like, well, you got money for Christmas from these people, you got money for your birthday from these people, and these people, and these people. And I don't think you've spent any money since the Christmas before, so you've got money from it. And it was literally like, she was just collecting money. That was that. One of my other daughters, the running joke for years has been that, at one point in time, she's going to be like, right, I'm going to catch you guys later. I've bought a house and I'm moving out. And it'll be like, yeah, but you're 6. So there was that. And even like my son, who even at his young age, could probably go out and buy a car at this point in time. So it's a running joke in our house that all of these kids have got more money than me and Leanne put together. And that's that. It's a running joke. It's hilarious. Now then, you may notice, might have missed a child out. There's a reason for that. So, I've always had this thing, like, I remember what it was like to be a child of a certain age. And I always felt like you got to a particular age and you became like some kind of little grifter. Like, everything was like, oh, if I do this job, can you give me this much money? Like, oh, yeah, that sounds like a good deal. Like, cool. Can I have the money now? Oh, no, I can't. I can't give you the money now. You haven't done the job. It was that at all times. Oh, I know it's Wednesday. But is there any chance I can have my pocket money now? Oh, I can't give you pocket money on a Wednesday because X amount of your pocket money depends on what what the situation is on Friday when you get your pocket money. Yeah, but... And then it was like, you get to that age where you can get out there and get, like... For me, it was paper round. And I worked my way through all the paper rounds until I got the big paper round. And I earned a whopping £14 a week. I'm pretty sure that was working a 6-day week. £14. You add your pocket money to that, which I think by that point might have been a £5. Maybe. Best part of 20 quid. Which is great. Apart from the fact I was probably spending £25 a week. So, there was that. So there was always like, oh, I'll do this. And I'll wash the car. How about I wash the car? That's a great one. And it was that simultaneous thing of, you say you want to do the job. You don't. Ultimately, you just want the money. And then you want to find a way out of doing the job. And then you get held accountable for all the money that you've been running around, beg, borrow and stealing. And then next thing, it's like, now I've got all these jobs to do. So, why am I discussing this? Why are we going on about this? For a long time, like I say, all the children had all this money, no dramas. But my eldest had money, very much like my other children. My eldest got money at various points throughout the year, birthday, Christmas, etc. She is like the first one who has done I don't want an Easter egg. I'd rather a gift, and I've already got a gift in mind. It's that sort of thing. She's reached that age. The other thing that has happened very recently is she has now tripped over into that. She's been steadily chipping away at the money that she had. New climbing shoes, climate payment for climbing, etc., etc. And all of a sudden, she doesn't have any money. No, that's not true. She has been planning ahead because, she'll have to pay for her side of her climbing. Coming up in, a month or so, a bit longer maybe. And she did have a little bit more money. However, a couple of trips out to do a bit of shopping here and there, and all of a sudden, no money. So, ended up in a situation where we were in a shop where she was trying to convince one of her sisters she was saying lend her money, but I knew full well that what she meant was give. So I had to intervene, and I was like, look, let's just lay it all out so everybody's on the same page here. You already owe me money. because I've paid for a month's worth of climbing, and I've bought you stuff that you said you were going to pay for. So you owe me money. Now you borrow money from her. You know and she knows that money will never be seen again. But you're borrowing money on top of the fact that you owe me money, and you're apparently going to do all these jobs to pay for all this, or to repay all this money. But I haven't seen any of these jobs being done. So then it was, oh, well, fine, I won't get this. I'll put it back. I was like, no. That's not how it works. How it works is she needs to understand that you owe me money, and she needs to understand that you will then owe her that money. Well, yeah, I won't bother getting it then. I was like, no, that's not what we're talking about. So I was talking to my other daughter. I was like, look, you need to be aware that she already owes money, and you need to be aware that this is a loan. You are not giving her that money, because if that's the case, then I'm going to not allow it. You are not allowed to just give her the money. She has to owe you the money. And I could see that my daughter was like, yeah, whatever. I was like, no, it's not whatever. That's the way it is. So all this is going on. There was another point in time where we went to another place. And the conversation starts like this. I'm like, oh, what are you getting? And she goes, I ain't got any money. Like, that wasn't the question I asked. The question I asked was, what are you getting? Oh, well, I haven't got any money. I'm like, right. Well, I have. Oh, well, no, because I owe you money already, and I need to do those jobs, and I haven't had the time to do those jobs. And you said I'd be able to do those jobs, but I haven't been able to do those jobs. Okay. That wasn't the question either. If you had some money right now, what would you get? Oh, well, I'd get this. Oh, you get that, would you? Just that one thing there. Well, no, I'd get this and this and this and this and this. Ah, right, would you know? Well, I'll tell you what, you get those things. I'll buy one of them for you, and you could pay for the rest. Oh, yeah, but I need to do the jobs and I already owe money. Well, yeah, that's on you. If you're prepared to do that, then, you're going to have to work it back. So, all this is going on. And there's a part of me that's like, oh, we're at this point. And I know full well that she's, like, waiting for a birthday to try and generate some cash, essentially, because I know that she's like, oh, well, so-and-so will give me some money, and then this person will give me some money, and I may get some money from that person. If I put it all together, then that's going to see me through to that point. I know that's what she's doing. Problem is, she never works on the principle that her birthday and Christmas are almost sat on top of each other, which is great, a bit of cash in the bank, everyone's happy. Doesn't mean she's got the rest of the year to get through. So on one hand, I'm like, here we are, we're at this point in time, it's kind of inevitable. But there's that other part of me. There's that other part of me that's like, I kind of like it. It's kind of like, you just reach an age where all of a sudden everything changes. Money-wise, everything changes. And I've always been terrified. My biggest fear is that one of my children comes to me and Dad, I've seen this top and it's amazing and I absolutely have to have it because I'm going out on Saturday. So can you give me £50? And my answer will obviously be, I don't have £50. Yeah, but Dad, it's like this amazing top and it's just the best top and I'll love it forever. And right, that doesn't change the fact that I don't have that money. Yeah, but Dad, you don't understand it, and it's pink and it's got sparkly bits on it. It's like, okay, that's great. Couple of things. One, you will wear it on Saturday and never wear it again. And two, I don't have £50. That is my fear. I used to take my eldest to. I think I used to take her to Boots when she was really little. On a weekend, I used to buy her like clothes left, right, and centre. When I thought that paying like £14 for a t-shirt was a bargain, and I'm like, we can get these 3 dresses and these tops and this hoodie. It's only going to cost me £100. And it was when I relayed this story to, I think it was when I relayed it to Leanne, and she was like, you could have got all of those things for like 30 quid if you'd have just gone to a supermarket. I'm like, oh, what? Anyway, this was before I discovered that you can get everything you need from a supermarket. But I used to say to her then, when she was this little girl, I'd be like, I buy you clothes now like this because in years to come, you're going to come to me and say, Dad, I really want this top and it's £50. And I'm going to have to say to you, I'm really sorry, I can't do that. And you're going to hate me for it. But that's why I'm doing this now. I remember I should have probably realised, because I remember a conversation with her when she was really little. We went off into town on a Saturday morning. And we're walking through town and she's like, I'm cold. I'm like, oh. Do you remember when I asked you if you needed to bring a hoodie and you said you didn't? She's like, yeah. I'm like, well, there you go then. You didn't bring a hoodie, now you're cold. She's like, oh, right, well, that's your fault, isn't it? I'm like, how is that my fault? She's like, well, you should have made me. You should have made me bring a hoodie. And I'm like, what? I tried to make you bring a hoodie, you refused. She's like, yeah, but now you're going to have to buy me a hoodie because you didn't make me bring one. And I was like, fine, come on, let's go get a hoodie. I should have known then. It was all going to go wrong. So yes, there's this double-edged sword part of me where I'm like, oh, I think it's fantastic, I think it's wonderful, I think it's hilarious that my daughter's reached this age where she needs more stuff than she has funds for, and she promises me that she's going to do the job. And I will say this, her favourite big ticket item is, I'll clean the car. And I'm always like, yeah, you say you're going to do it, but you never do. And I've got this job where it involves cleaning the entire gym, cleaning the downstairs toilet, cleaning the games room and stuff. And it's just basically hoovering round. But I make a big deal of it, so it sounds like a bigger job and stuff. So she's got these 2 jobs, and eventually she'll be like, I'm going to go and do these jobs so I can earn some money. I'm like, all right, okay. And I will say this, pretty much 95% of the time, she does an amazing job. I always look at it and go, oh, she's done a really good job on it. I remember the first time that she told me she was going to clean the car, and I'm like, She's like, yeah, I've got to go and do it. I'm like, okay. And she went off and she did it, and I was like, oh, I'll go and have a look, shall I? Knowing full well I was going to end up doing it myself. And I go out to do the inspection, I'm like, holy smokes, it's immaculate out here. She cleaned the big car the other day. It took her 2 days because it was that bad. And, we've got the bullshit Hoover that lasts 10 minutes and then needs recharging for 14 hours. So off she went with the Hoover and a bin bag and wipes and things and all this. And she goes back, she's like, Hoover's run out, I've done the best I can for now. I'm like, all right, okay. And I told her like a couple of areas to focus on that were really bad that I'd found whilst changing seats over and things. I go out to have a look and I'm like, yep, you've done a good job there. Can't argue, you know. And I'm always like, I am not paying you for a subpar job. So if the job isn't done well enough, you're not getting paid. But so far, I've not had to deal with that. So, I've had to have a ego check last week. I've had not even like one or two. I've had a handful of situations where I've been beaten at activities by one or more of my children. It's inevitable. It will always become a thing eventually. I honestly thought I was going to have more time, especially on a couple of them. I was a bit like, damn. Playing computer games with my children, playing on the Switch. One thing I will say, and this will come across as an excuse. It isn't. I'm just stating a fact. The Switch controllers, the Joy-Cons, are dog shit. They have always been awful. They've never done anything to change them. They are notoriously bad. A couple of the games that we were playing, I kept saying, the controllers aren't responding the way they're supposed to, and I'm getting annihilated by you lot. And obviously they're like, oh yeah, of course. Oh yeah, bad workman blames his tutor. I'm like, no. If you beat me fair and square, I've got no issues with that. But the controller's not doing what it's supposed to. Oh yeah, whatever. And we played bowling, I won. We played badminton, I won. We played basketball. There's a new free basketball update. I beat them with basketball. And every time we play, I win. It's as simple as that. However, there's Karamba, I think it is. It always makes me think of Pitch Perfect. Kalimba. I think it's Karamba, which is sword fighting on a high podium above water. And for whatever reason, it's one that I've always been able to win at, but for whatever reason, not only did my eldest beat me, middle and youngest daughters both beat me as well. I was like, I don't know what's going on here. These controllers are clearly broken. One of the bigger problems is that, I will always say this, there is almost nothing worse than a sore loser. And the reason I say there is almost nothing worse than a sore loser, because there is one thing worse than a sore loser, and that is a sore winner. One of my children, who will remain nameless, has well and truly adopted the stance of a sore winner. To the point where I had to turn around to them and go, don't do that. And Liam's like, that's not, don't be like that. It's not okay. Don't be a sore loser. I'm not being a sore loser. Just don't be that way. Win gracefully. Don't be a sore winner. There is nothing worse than a sore winner. The other thing being is that one of my children, who will continue to remain nameless, has also decided that the best route to go down is the win by any cost. If it includes cheating, go for it. And I'm like, yeah, that old chestnut. But yeah, bit of a ego thing, getting beaten by your kids. We went out for some foot golf. But yes, there has become that gap between me, certainly between me and my eldest, is closing for certain activities, sporting activities. She's a better climber than me, and pretty much always has been. And there was a point where there was a particular route I could do and she couldn't, and I was just like, this is the greatest moment in my life. And this went on for weeks, and I'm like, yeah. I was like, this does make me the best climber, yeah? If I can beat you on this one climb, that you can beat me on like 10 others. And then she found a way to do it, and that was the end of that. I was like, okay. So climbing's a bit of one of them. She's always been better than me. We went for a run. Last time we went for a run was a while ago, and I was doing the look. If you need to stop, just say and we'll stop. I've got no issues, or we can just like go slow, or we can walk for a bit, or whatever. You will go at your pace. You let me know, and yeah, we'll do that. And I think the last time we went, we didn't quite have to stop as such. But even a couple of miles, a long way for shorter legs. And that was that. We hadn't been for a run for a while. I was like, hey, any chance you want to get a run in tomorrow morning? Oh, yeah. What time? I was like, we'll go for 8. Oh, yeah, definitely. Let's do it. Sounds great. Cool. We head out the door, go up the hill, set off on our run, and she leaves me in the dirt. She is gone. I'm like, I guess we're doing that then, yeah. And then it was just that case of like every time she got to a corner or like going around a corner, she'd have to stop and wait for me. So I'd like catch up. And then we'd set off round, like we'd go like round the corner and she'd just be gone. And I'd be like, cool, I guess we're not having this run together then. That's nice. I then did make out that when we got back that she had to keep stopping. I didn't allude to why that was, but hey. I had to do a manly man thing at the weekend. I had to pretend to be a manly man. There'd been rumblings in the house that a plug socket was broken. It was double socket and one side had gone. I was a bit like, so use the other side. Not ideal. It's one that, there's like 2 plug sockets and 3 things plugged into it kind of deal. So, if you lose a side, then there's a lot of, plugging and unplugging kind of situations going on. And then the other side went. I'm like, I already know where this is going. I already know the situation here. I'm going to have to replace that plug socket. Now, one of those things, I have fitted a plug socket or 2 in my time. Going back a few years ago, I did it for a job for a little while. So, it's not a new thing. I will say this, there's a difference between doing it for yourself and doing it for other people. So I was like, right, we needed to replace the front. So, apparently they're dirt cheap, which, cool. Got one. Like, right. Number 1, let's turn the socket power off. On the box, it says lights. All right, no. Not the lights. We need the sockets turning off. Yeah, there isn't one for sockets. Okay. What have we got? Oh, we've got lights upstairs, lights downstairs, cooker, and mains. Okay, that seems weird. So, systematically started turning stuff off. The problem was, of the 2 sockets in the kitchen, one of which was broken, the other socket was still working. I was like, hang on a minute. When the garage was converted to games room, gym, toilet, etc. They put a new electric box in. What does that one say? Oh, right, yeah, now we've got a load of other stuff. All right, cool. What about sockets? No, I haven't got sockets. Right, okay. So what then? Oh, this one might do it. Flick the switch. Other plug socket in the kitchen still working. Plug sockets in the games room still working. I'm like, that ain't it. Try this one. Okay, well, interesting. We've now lost the sockets downstairs in the main house because we've lost the internet. But the children are still watching something on the tablet, which in theory is connected to the internet. Yeah, that's a good one, that one. Oh, and by the way, the socket is still working in the kitchen. Okay. I'm going to turn this one off. Oh, new development. We've now lost the sockets in the games room. Okay, try the socket in the kitchen. That one still works. Oh, and by the way, the children are still watching something on the tablet, because obviously they couldn't use the TV. And in theory, couldn't use the internet, but apparently our tablet was like, I don't need internet. I just use black magic. Was still going at this point in time. Now, this was around about the time I started getting a little bit freaked out, because ultimately everything in the house was turned off, yet the socket in the kitchen was still working, and I was starting to think it was powered by aliens, and my children are watching something on a streaming service on a tablet which uses the internet where there was no internet. This was around about the point in time I started getting kind of freaked out. Like, genuinely like, what the fuck is going on right now? This plug socket should not be working because all the sockets are off. And how the hell are they watching how the hell are they watching something that's on the internet when they're not on the internet? So, there was literally nothing for it. I was like, turn off the mains power. Mains power goes off. Everything is now off. And yes, the plug socket in the kitchen stopped working. I was like, well, that's a mystery for another day. You know when you know a job is it's just not going to be right. It's just not. I'm like, I know exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to take the faceplate off, and it's going to be a shit show behind that faceplate, and then I am going to have to be the one that deals with it. Well, I wasn't far wrong there. The only thing was, I thought it was going to be one way, and it was completely the other way. I thought there was going to just be an absolute mess of wires. No. What in actual fact it was somebody had managed to fit a plug socket, double plug socket, to the back box with what I would say is probably an inch less than the minimum amount of cable required. The person must have been some kind of contortionist to be able to get that on. I have no freaking idea. I couldn't get the thing off because I couldn't get a screwdriver in to undo it to start with. And all I knew was, whether I can get this off or not, putting a new one on is going to be a fucking nightmare. Spoilers. Yeah, it was an absolute nightmare to get back on. But me being me, trying to do I'm not going to lose my shit. I'm not going to lose my shit. I'm not going to lose my shit. Then I lost my shit, effing and jeffing. A lot of just me going, I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was going to be this way. Why would it ever be any other way than this? Leanne being infinitely helpful. Shall I get the torch? Yep, that'll do it. Do you want me to hold it? No, because I'm already holding it. That's not going to change the length of the wire. All of a sudden, managed to get it on. And at that point I went, something definitely is wrong here. Something's definitely going to go wrong. Then I realised what it was. I was like, I'm not going to be able to screw it back on. Because these screws are notoriously never line up. It took me about 3 attempts and apparently managed to get the screws in. Like, oh God. There's only one thing left that can go wrong. I'm going to turn all the power back on, plug something in. It is going to explode and set fire to our house. Turn the power back on, plugged something in, turned the kettle on and went, well, it didn't explode and the kettle works. At that moment in time, I simultaneously felt like the biggest dick in the room. Not you know what I mean. And terrified for my family's safety. 50-50 on that one. I was like, yeah, you thought I wasn't going to be able to do that, and I did it. So, I make fire, hopefully not out of the back of a plug socket. So there was that side of things. There's me, strutting around the place, cock of the walk, yeah boy. While simultaneously in the back of my head going, that is definitely going to blow up at some point, and it's going to kill everybody, and it is going to be my fault. So I just now straddle that. I look at that plug socket, I go, I did that. I replaced it. My family needed me to be a man and replace a plug socket, and I did it. Me. And there is the other part of me that goes, any second now it could just burst into flames. Any second now it could do that snap, crackle, pop, and all the lights go out. Any second now I could be at work and get a phone call and Leon's like, house is on fire right now. I'm like, okay, cool. So that's been fun to deal with. Finally, I want to go through. I'm going to put my teeth in first. Finally, I want to go through something that some people are going to think self-inflicted, and other people are going to go, yeah, I feel on that one. We're in the summer holidays currently. This year's summer holidays have been the first year where not only myself but Leanne have had that first sort of taste of the next, I don't know, 15 years or something, which basically features us trying to like leapfrog over each other with holidays to be able to actually take enough holiday to look after our children through the holidays. Previously, it was easy peasy. We just took the time off that we needed to have the older girls. And that was that. Job done. There was even, every now and then, every year or so, here and there was even points in time where little day left over for the big man. Take a day off. Go get a tattoo done or something. Yes, sir. Now it's, you physically don't have enough holiday days for 50% of the amount of time you need to take off. Good luck. Because a 6-week holiday was previously just 2 weeks that needed to be worried about. And my responsibility to take those 2 weeks off. Leanne could take some days off here and there, saving days for other points in time. I'd take a couple of weeks off, bing, bang, boom. Admittedly, stupidly, we get to like a point in the run up to the summer holidays where we were like, what about our other children? They need looking after, don't they? How are we doing that again. And then the realization dawns. 3 weeks into the summer, we are into week 4 of the summer holidays now. I can officially say that over the last 3 weeks, I have probably never known the level of exhaustion. Ever. And I used to go on like 3-4 day, like, I don't know what you'd call them. They're not binges. Just partying. Non-stop. That's when I was young. Do things like that. Now, I've brought back the power nap. I've brought back the nana nap. I've brought back that, I don't know what you call it, where you need a nap when you get out of bed. Which one's that one? Just got out of bed nap, should we call it? They are required just to barely keep functioning. So that's been fun. Yeah, it's been a real taste of things to come. Here we go. I'm yawning now because I'm that tired. And yes, I have had my nap. Somebody asked me the other day if I thought that we were too old for technology. They were saying like they believed that technology was getting away from us. And I was like, ultimately, it happens to everybody. Everybody reaches that point in life where technology has escaped them. I think it was Dara O'Brien did a sketch, like a joke about how, like, you know, for X amount of your life, you're running alongside technology. And then eventually you have to let technology go, like the stone in curling. I will desperately fight it to the bitter end. But I also agree and admit that that time may already be upon me. Anyway, let's talk a multitude of other things. This is a man who's like, I'm tired, but now I'm going to go on about all the stuff I've done outside of, you know, I was about to say outside of working and being a parent, but I haven't been working, so that might explain it. TV wise, I finished series 1 of Tulsa King. I watched episode 9. Last week I mentioned that I kind of had an idea how I thought the last episode was going to go, and I was excited and looking forward to it. I watched the last episode. Didn't quite go the way I'd wanted it to. And I was ever so slightly let down by that. I was a bit like, that would have been cool. And they still put like one side of the issue to bed, but obviously series 2 is just about to be released. So when you need a second series, you need something to bridge the gap between series 1 and 2. Having finished it, and I've been really thoroughly enjoyed it, I am already worried for the second series. I'm already like, what is series 2 going to be? How much legs does this TV show have? Because I was having a conversation today where I was talking about like where you have a series 1 that really just needed a series 1, and then it's like, here's series 2, and you watch a couple of episodes, you're like, this is garbage. And it's always the ones that you really enjoy series 1. One of those situations, I don't actually know how to watch this series, barring buying it, which will be expensive when it first comes out. I have actually looked at the streaming service it's on, but I feel at the moment I'm trying to get rid of streaming services because, you know, adverts. I think you should be able to, like, say if you absolutely have to put a goddamn advert on this freaking program that I'm watching, can you please not put certain people on the screen who I absolutely despise? Because that just adds insult to injury. It's rubbing salt in the wound. But anyway. Having finished Tulsa King, a new series was released, and it was definitely one I was going to be checking out. Batman the Caped Crusader has gone on to Amazon Prime. As I say, it was definitely one I was going to be checking out, but I was going to be wary of it. Ultimately, it's supposed to be some sort of it's kind of a continuation of Batman the Animated Series. It's kind of a reboot. It's kind of set at a different point in time. It's kind of the same but different. Few things. One, it's done they've laid everything out in front of them and gone, how can we make it different, shall we say? So you've got the female version of a male villain. You've got the fact that certain characters have changed nationality. Certain characters very quickly reveal their sexual preferences. One thing that is very interesting about it is that every time the episode starts, it shows us it being 16 plus. And I will say this, they used that rating to their advantage. There have been a couple of points where I've been like, oh wow, like a character kills another character and you're like, oh, that wouldn't have happened in Batman the Animated Series. It's set at a time where Batman's no longer fighting muggers and thieves and people like that, and is starting to move into that costumed supervillain sort of area. Something that I wonder if it's intentional, but obviously for me personally, and I think for a lot of Batman fans, certainly Batman Animated Series fans, the loss of Kevin Conroy is a big thing, and I do wonder if the way the show has gone is to kind of address that without, wanting to insult anybody. So Batman isn't featured all that much in the show, which is weird at times. They're kind of doing this bad guy's got a really good story, so we're going to have them be the main person in this episode and that sort of thing. The other thing being is Batman doesn't talk all that much. When he is on screen, it's a lot of action-based stuff and not a lot of talking. I certainly hope the voice actor for Batman wasn't paid by the word, let's put it that way. However, something on the flip side, I personally feel if you're going to make the bold choice to do a Batman cartoon in the vein of Batman the Animated Series, but new and updated and etc, 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 I feel that you should probably spend the time to find the next great Batman voice. Jensen Ackles has been doing probably the lion's share of the Batman voice work for a while now. He came onto the scene while Kevin Conroy was still alive in I think it was like the Red Hood, where he voiced the Red Hood. I saw somebody live tweeting something that had Jensen Ackles doing the voice of Batman recently, and they said, hands down, the worst Batman voice actor. There are times when I'm like, I think he's doing an okay job. There are other times where I'm like, I don't think he's very good at this. The person they've got doing Batman in the new series, not strong enough is what I would say. Obviously, they do both Bruce Wayne and Batman. And I would say they probably do a better Bruce Wayne than Batman. But so a big thing for me. And the fact that Kevin Conroy is no longer with us is also a big thing. So let's face it, it's one of those, isn't it? The new person was probably never going to get a thumbs up from me. And that's part of the problem, I think. I think I wanted to say, it's very sad that Kevin Conroy is not doing it, but I think the new guy has done a good go at it. Oh, got an itch. Oh, yeah. I've watched 6 episodes. I think there's 10, so few to go. It's not bad. There's been a couple of points where I've properly been like, whoa. A couple of the police officers are corrupt. I know, such a leap to believe something like that. And in an episode, spoilers, but in an episode they did take care of a bad guy, shall we say? Which was a very interesting take on things. I'll watch the rest. I'll absolutely watch the rest. And I do hope something like this gets another series. I'm all up for Batman animated stuff. So, yeah. Fingers crossed on that one. I watched something in the last week. It took me a couple of days. And I wasn't sure whether to talk about it because I have mixed feelings. Not weirdly about the actual content, but the person, shall we say. Everyone's favourite podcaster, Joe Rogan, has a new stand-up special. I, a little while ago, vowed to have no more to do with Joe Rogan. And I'll tell you why. Unfortunately for me, I guess, it was off the back of a podcast that Joe Rogan did with Cameron Haynes, where they were both just going all guns blazing on vaccines, Trump, all this sort of stuff. And I was like, personally, I don't really care what your opinion is on certain things. Don't use your platform to ram it down people's throats. It was quite aggressive, I felt. Certainly nothing that I wanted to be listened to. It certainly made me question both of those people, that they would do that, why they would do that, that sort of thing. And for me, very much, if that's your thought and an opinion, fine, great, you do you. Don't be banging it out on the air. This was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. This has been going on a little while, and I was like, I am done with. I think at the time I was like, with both of these people, I feel I'm done with them. And that was that. I don't listen to Joe Rogan podcasts anymore. And I've sort of generally tuned him out. However, there comes a problem because Joe Rogan isn't just a podcaster. UFC commentator, yes, but also stand-up comedian. And I have enjoyed, in the past, all of Joe Rogan's stand-up specials, and I've been very much in the camp of, when's he going to do another one? You know, when you've got all these strings to your bow, you kind of have to remember all of them. I saw it was being released. I didn't realise until I watched it that it was live, apparently. And I was like, can I allow myself to watch the stand-up special? And I ummed and ahed, and I was like, well, no, I said I was done with all this. And ultimately, in the end, I'll hold my hands up on this one, I went back on everything, and I was like, I am interested enough to watch his stand-up special. I want to see where his comedy's at the moment. It was good. I enjoyed it. I laughed. That was that. However, I feel that the stand-up special had an agenda, and that agenda was maybe to change people's opinion of him. People, I don't know, like me, who are like, you said this and you said that and you did this and you did that. And blah, 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 blah. Because a lot of his stuff centered around him saying, if you've taken my advice on this, if you've listened to me about that, if you've, you know, listened to something I've said and gone, ooh, that's on you, not me. I talk, I'm a professional shit talker, and I talk a lot of shit. Some of the stuff I say is true, a lot of it isn't. So don't listen to me on any subject. And I'm like, nah. And then he goes on to talk about that. He's like, yes, but what does Joe Rogan think about vaccines? Because he's a stand-up comedian and a podcaster and a UFC commentator, and it's like, yes, you're right in all of that, but you have the single biggest podcast in the world. People listen to you. And again, you know, multiple times he covered that himself. Often saying something doesn't make it okay. So I watched the stand-up special. It's called Burn the Boat. I enjoyed it. I laughed a lot. I have since watched it again to see how I feel about it the second time. Obviously, there are aspects of it that were more noticeable the second time round. And that's kind of that. I don't think I've really changed my opinion all that much. I like comedy. I like to laugh. If you've got some comedy for me, I'll probably laugh. I don't think it changes anything. I think that's where I've come down on that one. Probably come down quite hypocritical as well for going back on my principles, but I wanted to give a cursory mention to a film. Found out recently that I can get like cheap cinema tickets from my mobile phone provider. Never knew. Only found out recently when myself and a friend went to see Deadpool and Wolverine. So I dipped back in, got some cheap tickets, and took 3 of the 4 children to see Harold and the Purple Crayon. Now, we have seen multiple trailers for this film. It looked fun. It looked whimsical even. So off we went to the cinema to see it. In a lot of ways. In fact, while I'm talking, I'm going to look it up just to get an idea. Because I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's probably done better business than the Borderlands movie. Harold and the Purple No. Okay. Crayon gross. Wow. Okay. Couple of things. One, it's not Borderlands because it has made more money than Borderlands, but only just, and in its entire time it's been out. That's pretty bad. I imagine that film had a fair budget. Oh, that's disappointing. So we went to see this film. I was going to tell you that it was just purely a money-making scheme because it was definitely get kids bums on seats and get parents paying for those bums on those seats. Apparently not. $12 million. Gonna go out on a limb and say probably had $50 million budget, probably more. There was not a lot that connected the individual pieces of that film together. One example is Harold is a cartoon. Harold is a drawing, and he has a purple crayon and he can draw things with his purple crayon. He draws some friends, a moose and a porcupine, and they have adventures. And then one day, the narrator stops narrating and they decide, well, we need to go to the real world to find him. So Harold draws a door, goes through it, and he turns into Shazam. No, Zachary Levi. Same thing. That, I'm fine with that. I'm on board. Okay. The moose, goes through the door and turns into a man. No, don't see the connection there. Porcupine goes through the door and turns into a lady. Nope, don't see the connection. And then, from that point on, a series of things happen that don't really connect to each other. The whole time I'm sat there, I'm having Despicable Me 4 flashbacks where I'm there going, but what is the point? What is the reason? Why are we doing this? I get to the back end. There's a point I look across and I'm pretty sure two of my 3 children that I've taken with me are crying. I'm like, okay, are you crying at how bad this film is? Or honestly, it surprises me that film has made almost no money, because to me it's purely taking money out of parents' wallets. So yes, I wanted to give it a mention. I didn't want to go to a full-blown review because honestly there wasn't anything to review. There are films I take my children to see that I know I will buy digitally. I recently bought Wonka, let's put it like that. I will almost definitely have to purchase Kung Fu Panda 4 at some point, and I will almost definitely have to purchase Despicable Me 4 at some point. Films that we have been to see at the cinema that were not good, that I'm going to have to pay for a second time. Wonka, on the other hand, was an absolute banger, and I was happy to give two lots of money for that film. There are films we've been to see where I'm like, that film was garbage. Read between the lines. Right, let's talk computer games. I have played well, I'll tell you a story. That's why we're here, surely. I reached a point where I'd installed the first update, first patch, first whatever, for Into the Radius 2, and I generally felt that it had made the game worse. It made the game run worse in certain ways. It was making certain glitches that were already existent worse, like guns just vanishing off the face of the earth. I said this previously, I've lost more guns in that game than I have owned and are in that game. So, I reached a point where a couple of things happened. One, a game that I've been looking forward to on the standalone quest was released. And 2, kind of came to a decision that I felt like I needed to leave Into the Radius 2, because in a lot of ways it was becoming a little bit unplayable. When a game is difficult and then has performance issues on top, it makes it very difficult to play. And this was the issue. So I made an executive decision and I bought Zero Caliber 2. Reason being is every single human being on the face of the earth said, this game's great. You know what people are, don't you? People are liars. Every single one of them. No, I don't mean it like that. What I mean is, every single person will tell you that Zero Caliber 2 is the greatest game that's ever been released. Right now, go to YouTube and type Zero Caliber 2. There will be about 500,000 videos telling you how it's the greatest game that's ever been released. It's better than Call of Duty. It's the greatest game ever. Well, I am here to tell you that isn't true. Some aspects of Zero Caliber 2 are good. The weird thing is, it's been released on standalone Quest, but as an early access game, which is basically unheard of. And a little weird. The weapons. Everybody goes on about how great the weapons are, how amazing they look, how customizable they are. Okay. If you can put a handgun in your left-hand side weapon holster, and you can then take the handgun out and fire it until it's empty, but have no way of reloading it, that seems like a significant flaw to me, and something that's driven me up the freaking wall. Oh, the game's got loads of guns, it's got loads of guns in it, it's got all these different attachments, you can put loads of attachments on the guns once you've unlocked them, you can buy them as well, you can buy an attachment and do all this stuff. Yes, all of that is true. However, when I get a shotgun that's got a clip attached to it, which means it can carry a hell of a lot of shells and go bang, 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 shoot, shoot, shoot. That's basically what I'm going to use for the entire level. Some of the guns are great. Some of them look like tiny toy versions of the guns they're supposed to be, and it's really off-putting. Enemies are super generic. Super generic. Also, very early on in the game, it's, you need to go from here to here. Cool. Go through this house. Okay. This house is exactly the same as the last house you went in, and it's going to be exactly the same as the next one you go in. After 5 or 6 houses, you're like, you couldn't put the kitchen on the other side? Talk about cut, copy, paste. I've played it a bit. I've done a few levels. I've bought some guns. I've bought some upgrades. The gun upgrade thing in the headquarters is truly terrible. I've tried to put different attachments on different guns multiple times and had zero luck. If an attachment is on another gun and you try to attach it to the one that you're currently trying to kit out, it just equips the other gun. So then you end up with two guns the same. Seems annoying, I know that much. It's fine and it's fun, but there's a lot about it that's not. So, when you go and take yourself to the internet and everybody tells you this game is great, best game ever made, tell them they're wrong. Okay? Tell them I said so. I have gone back. This was the irony. Playing Zero Caliber 2 for a couple of days made me realise that maybe playing Into the Radius 2 wasn't all that bad, and I went back to it. I was stuck at a particular point. I was just bogged down. I was dying a lot, and the game was glitching out when I was dying, so it just became really difficult to play. But I decided to knuckle down and get it done, which I did. Managed to progress with the game. I've been describing the game to people as it's basically a Souls-like game. It's very much a game that you have to take 2 or 3 steps and then save it, and then try and take out an enemy and then save it. Sorry, it was I'm pretty sure I had the same situation last week, where I had to go and deal with my cat, who was deciding to, eat stuff in the kitchen because now apparently he's not scared of the dog anymore. Anyway, Into the Raiders 2 is basically like a Souls-like game for me. I'm not very good at games, and this game currently doesn't have a difficulty setting. Every given situation is hard as balls. Every single thing in that game is designed to kill you. When you get to like bases and areas that you need to get through, there will always be like 15 enemies, and they've all got machine guns. It's that kind of situation. More recently, I've decided that that's just the way it is. Just kind of knuckle down and get on with it. And in some ways, in little ways, that's kind of made it easier to swallow, let's say. Last night, I unlocked what I believe is... It's maybe the last mission, which is really hard to explain because I don't believe it is the last mission. I just believe it's the last mission for now. And I also don't believe it is the last mission. I just know that it's going to unlock the next security level. I don't know whether that's going to mean that's the game done for now or not. People are saying they finished the game and they've got level 3 security, which is the next thing for me. But on the map of places you can go, there's like 5 still locked. So maybe it's an early access thing. We shall find out. I have reached a point where I'm in one of the areas that I previously mentioned, where it is just enemies everywhere and the electric dice things that just kill you pretty much instantly. So, that's fun. Other games that I've played recently. Sifu. Got it as part of a Humble Bundle thing. I think it was through Humble Choice. This month's Humble Choice. A game that I actually toyed with buying more than a few times. But it's a rogue... I think it's rogue light, I think is the way it's actually said. I've always said rogue like. Works on the principle every time you die, you age a year and come back to life. You're supposed to gain experience from this. See the previous statement about me not being very good at games. So my first playthrough has already been and gone, let's put it that way. I fully died. At the age of 70-something, and hadn't really learned anything other than it's probably not the game for me. It's a brawler fighter game. Works on the principle you need to be able to learn certain moves to be able to fight, and I am more of a button basher. If I really have to, I'll learn the odd move here and there, but really I don't want to have to, and this game very much wants you to. One of those where I'm a bit like, I'll go back to it at some point, whilst I secretly know probably won't. Another game that I'd toyed with the idea of getting, paying money for at one point in time, and another one that I'm glad I didn't pay for. I got High on Life. A little bit one of them now, isn't it? A little bit controversial in a way, kind of. Because it's I believe, a Justin Roiland game. Justin Roiland went through the whole process of being cancelled and found not guilty. So, yeah, bit of a weird one that, but works on the principle you get a talking gun because aliens invade. Any game that says, hey, why don't you go for a wander round outside and just see what's out there, you're going to lose me early on in that one, I'm afraid. Because that is terrible writing and terrible game etiquette. High on Life did that very early on. Oh, why don't you go outside and have a look around? For what reason? I wandered around for ages before realising, oh, I'm supposed to go back to the house. I go back to the house and that progresses the game. And I was like, that's terrible. Because it's just wasting time. Another one that, part of me is like, I'll probably go back and play it again, see if I can get a bit further with it. And another part of me is like, you annoyed me, game. You really did. And finally, I decided to pay £2.49 for a game I own 2 copies of already, and now I own a third. And quite frankly, I will happily give you £2.49 for Titanfall 2. Obviously playing it on the Steam Deck, absolute banger of a game. Literally, if you've got 6 to 8 hours to kill, Titanfall 2 will always scratch that itch as far as I'm concerned. Absolute banger of a game when it came out. It's never not been an absolute banger of a game. And yeah, like I say, 6 to 8 hours long, job done. I know, probably a third to halfway through it already, and I've only played it 2 or 3 times. What more could you want for £2.49? Name me something you can buy for £2.49 that will give you 6 to 8 hours worth of enjoyment. I dare you. That is that. That's basically it at this point. Not as long. Trim the fat still. But yeah, that's it for this one. I will catch you next time. So there we go. What do you think to that? Another one done. Another one gone. Big thank you for watching. Big thank you for listening. And a big thank you for being here. If you want to be more CookieCast crew, you can click a like button. It doesn't have to be on this podcast. It can be on one of the other podcasts. Just say you like it. Share it around. That is a big one. Subscribe to the podcast. That way you get new episodes when they come along. Heading into podcast season soon. So, yeah, those episodes will ramp up going into the winter months. Check out the website, thecookiecast.com. There we've got social media links and an email button. And that way you can get in touch with us. That is it for this one. Until next time, I'm going to say bye. And I'll see you then.
You've just listened to another episode of CookieCast. Thanks for listening.